Okay, going to attempt to do a live stream. Um, it's dark, and I hope you can hear me. I have a headset. I can put it here in my bed, maybe. Okay, I'm going to keep my voice down because the rest of the household is still asleep. Let me know if you can hear me, or if I'm talking too low. Okay. So I'm going to try to keep my voice down, and I I want to talk about, as it says in the title, the concepts like wealth and uh, and the value of your work. And I believe these I believe these concepts are important to understand now that we are moving into a new kind of society in a way, and we are seeing that happening in front of our very eyes. It's both wealth and the value of your work. Those concepts are poorly understood, and I believe this is because of first and foremost a lack of education when it comes to things like your personal economy, your your wallet, so to speak, and also a very poor understanding, or rather a dogmatic understanding of what work is. Now, whenever I yes, and lots of good people here, and good to see you all in the chat there. Now, whenever I post a link to my designs at what's the name, Spring Store, formerly known as Teespring. They sell t-shirts and cups and so on, and you can upload your designs and have your own store, so to speak, on there. Whenever I do that, I know I will get people trying to shame me for making money, and it's something I have come to expect. Now, I do that from time to time because Spring wants to make money as well, and I upload to the community tab codes, discount codes, so on, and then you will have people like one comment I saw this morning. I'm just keeping an eye on an old dog that we are babysitting. Hold on there. He's got a wobbly leg. Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, so they will try to shame you for making money on merchandise. And on this one, a woman, prepper, homestead, something it says said in the name, their nickname. She wrote, try getting or doing a 9 to 5 job. And you know what? I replied, I never do, but this one, I just got annoyed. I work 60-hour weeks. Try doing that. I have 2 jobs. I'm a novelist and I'm a YouTuber. I work 60-hour weeks. Try doing that. It's quite demanding, I can tell you that. So here's the thing, this concept that work must be measured in hours. It's a very stupid concept. Your work value cannot be measured by the hour. It's what you produce and also the uniqueness of what you can do. That's your value. So if you are doing something that 1,000 other people can do just as well, you have put yourself in not the best position, you know. On the contrary, if you're, let's say, a brain surgeon with a speciality of some kind of operation and you're the best in the world, then you can pretty much charge whatever you like, you know, because you're the only one who can do that job in the world, right? So it's important to understand that it's the value you produce that will, in the long run, how should I put it? It's not the hours, it's the value. Those two concepts are difficult. They are different, right? So whenever someone says that, well, you have to work 9 to 5, a 9 to 5 job, and that's the only real kind of job, you know. And when someone says that, they are just revealing that they do not understand the value of work. Nobody cares how many hours you work. It's only the value that you produce that is interesting. So now, I'm not trying to shame anyone who works 9 to 5. Of course not. It's a frame, you know. It's a framework that we use in our society. It's the framework, and it's just the normal. I do not think it will be the normal in the future. So now there will be some people, yeah. Paul Hogston, I don't know if that comment is directed towards me. 60-hour weeks, and so on. Well, yeah, I'm around 60 hour every week. 10-hour days, 6 days a week. Yeah, I work 7 days a week, so that's how we get to 60. Now let's see here. So it's just, yeah. Nicholas says most of those people just speak from a place of jealousy. They bring others down to raise themselves up. It's correct, and also I see a lot of people, especially I think from the USA, and there's a reason for this. I'll get to that now, saying that if you have university education, it's not worth anything. Now that is a foolish thing to say. How would you get bridges built if nobody went to university? How would you get people doing real science if they didn't go, if nobody went to university? How would you get people to study history if nobody went to university, and so on? It's a skill you acquire, and I think the reason, as I said, I'll get to this. I think the reason for people trying to shame those who go to university is that I believe in the USA, especially, there has been a trend where people study useless stuff. Now this is YouTube, so I won't get into what kind of stuff that is, but I mean, you do have to study to acquire the skills to build a bridge, right? You can't just go and do it. You must learn how to do it, you know. You must go through several years of studying if you want to understand how history shapes our present, for instance. So that's how it is, and it's similar with a craft, it's a skill, and you have to go through several years to acquire that craft. For instance, if you're a furniture carpenter, you make fine furniture, right? You can't just do that after a couple of years. It takes a long time, and you have to study that. That's why you go through those years, and you have to go into an apprenticeship and all that. So we need to look at this from both sides. Bernhard, you can build a bridge without studies, but nobody will use it. Exactly. Psychology is real science, but I know what you're saying here. But there, yeah, but okay, I'll leave that now. Is now the other thing I want to talk about here, and I've talked about this for in a members only live stream. Value. No, sorry. Wealth. What is wealth? What is wealth? It's actually a very difficult concept. Now, my education, I went to university and I studied economics and business administration to a high level for several years. Now, I didn't like it so much when I was there, but I did go through many fields of different fields and studied those, like statistics, like how to manage a business, accounting. I wasn't very good at accounting, I have to admit that, but logistics and so on and so on, and also the psychology behind the psychology that goes on in the micro universe that is a business, right? So I also, but we didn't look enough into what is value. What is value? Some people those who went towards finance and studied, specialized in finance, they believe that I think wealth is a number. I do not believe wealth is a number. I believe that wealth is many things combined. But it is, again, it's very difficult to define. Let's say you have a total meltdown and destruction of society. How much money you have will have no value at all. Money wouldn't have any value, but food and your skills, let's say as a hunter and fisherman, would be your value or your wealth. Now I'm mixing those two things up here. I'm sorry. I'm trying to say wealth. What is your wealth? So it depends on the setting. It depends on what's in demand. Now, I believe that land is wealth. In our present society, land is wealth. I do not believe that any kind of asset that you cannot use, like money in the bank, stocks, gold, silver, and so on. I do not believe that any of those are real long-term wealth. You have to buy something for that, or you have to use it to invest and so on. But Aaron, Rich, wealth won't make you happy. Well, wealth is not about happiness. It's about security. And people who do not have wealth tend to have less security. So, 7th-string Ronin says wealth was sheep and cows. Exactly. Hence the old word fehu, which means cattle. And it is important that we at least have this internal discussion with ourselves. What is wealth? I would argue that your amount of freedom comes into play there. Maybe wealth is an equation with several factors. If you do not have any freedom, you do not have any wealth, I would argue. No wealth at all. It's like if you have to work, like myself, 60-hour, if I had to work 60-hour weeks for the rest of my life, you don't really get to do much else, you know. I'm lucky in the way that I do consider my time out in the woods making videos part of my work as a YouTuber, and I do count those into those 60 hours. It is real work. And so I enjoy it immensely. So it is different, of course, than if you had to stay in a factory for 60 hours every week. But wealth matters. Do not fool yourself. It matters. But it's important that we define what wealth is. It's not the same as money. The wealthiest person, if I can just imagine, the wealthiest person would be someone living a nomadic lifestyle in a world with no threats from, like we have today, like totalitarian regimes, living in a nomadic lifestyle in a temperate climate with an abundance of food. I think that would be complete wealth. But that's my take on it, you know. In our society today, it's different because it's very difficult to live that lifestyle. And you have to discuss this with yourself. Don't fool yourself thinking that wealth is the same as money. And certainly do not fool yourself thinking that wealth does not matter. It matters. I would say that something like if you have friends that you can trust, it adds to your wealth. If you have kids, it adds to your wealth immensely. Older people will know what I'm talking about here. And first and foremost, never let anyone shame you when you're trying to increase your wealth. If you have something to sell, you should do that. You should ask for the price you think it's worth in the market. It's like when I say you can get the discount and buy some merchandise. Why would I be shamed or ashamed of doing that? Why? As someone here said, it's probably envy, and it's downright stupid. Like this one woman wrote there that try doing a 9-to-5 job. What? No, nobody cares. Nobody cares if you work 9 to 5. Nobody cares. It's only the value you create, the value that comes out of what you're doing. Ben Ailing, thanks a lot there for that donation. That's wonderful. Bjorn, have a drink. Post work on me. I appreciate what you are doing. Well, thank you, Ben. Thank you. Now I normally get up very early during the darker months of the year. For some reason I fall asleep very early and I get up at 3 or 4 a.m. and then I start writing. From there it just keeps going. I try to make a video or a live stream every day. Charles Christianson just joined Patreon. Well, thanks a lot. That's awesome. Thanks a lot. Yeah, so long days, But today I'm actually going in for physiotherapy today. I'm looking forward to that. I need to be they need to fix me from time to time. So yeah. So never let anyone belittle you or shame you. I believe that there is a potential for value, real value in every person out there. Never let anyone shame you or let you think otherwise. And I do believe that if you value your freedom, I was not going to talk much about what's coming and all that, but let's just say, lots of freedom-loving people will lose their job in the months to come. It's already happening. You might have to try to set up your own business, right? So that's why this comes into play. Know your value and build your wealth. It is a very Viking concept as well, by the way. Thank you all for supporting me. There's the connection is a little bit on and off here on the stream. I'm sorry about that. Emerald Rider, thanks for the donation. Thank you for standing up to this tyranny. Stand for something or fall for anything. Well, thanks a lot for those kind words, and Skål to you as well. Yeah, so know that you have something that is valuable. And don't give up. Don't give up. These people think that they are doing something important just because of the hours that they work. They don't understand what this is about. They do not understand value. They do not understand, probably do not understand wealth either. Do things like grow your own food, come together with like-minded people, prepare. It is important. Okay. Yeah, knowledge is important. Okay, I'm going to stop this live stream now. I'll be back. I'll suddenly be back. And thank you for joining in the chat, and we'll talk later. Bye.